There are messages of the conscious mind. You can see who we are from what's on the media, what is being said. What doesn't matter whether it's a secret or not. You can tell by what kind of movies are interesting you, what has your focus, and whatever the conscious mind is focused on is generally what we're going to create. So make a good movie, and it's what we want to see. So yeah, it is like the creators of media are only creating what it is you want to hear. So that's how I kind of view any type of TV, and it's like to a point where there's endless amounts of shows on there. So ultimately, it's the shows I want to listen to ultimately are going to be part of my biased perspective of how I look at things, because it's why am I looking at only the selected few things that I look at as like the control group of how I'm going to judge how the conscious mind views the world. But anyways, it's kind of deep. You got to see yourself, the world, like you got to see both, so many reflections at the same time. But anyways, there are messages in there that tell you who you are. And one show that I just watched is dropped at uh, Diva, I think it's called. Season one, the episode plot. Okay, first of all, it's all about a lawyer, which I'm totally against the entire justice system. Um, you won't find justice in there. You will find justice outside of the justice system. So I'm kind of there's so many things that naturally I disagree with within this show and how it's set up. But if you look back and look at what is the biggest picture of this, and it's like on this plot, towards the very end, one of the biggest messages was about this girl that was obviously trying to leave an abusive marriage. This guy is putting her down, and um, so it is like the kings, the leaders of the world that are constantly putting you down and telling you who you are. And then this girl cowards down because this guy just finished saying, you have no power, you have no power, and that is no different than the game that's being played globally. Is every leader, it doesn't matter if it's Deepak Chopra or Oprah or Obama, or you pick a leader today and every single leader says you have no power. Death is the way to go. All religions, light workers, any solution available on the planet today is you ain't got what it takes to overcome evil. And yet there was an example on that show that says, you know what, you're just going to turn into what somebody wants to tell you. If you buy into it, you'll turn into it. And um, ultimately, you can see this girl. This is some of the fight that goes on in, why should I stand up? You know, and this guy said the perfect words. Do you want to put your kids through, that kind of hell? And yeah, if you don't stand up for yourself, then you teach your children how not to stand up for yourself. So that's the route I took. Was no, I was going to stand up for abuse as soon as it was pointed out that by me not standing up for myself, I was teaching my kids how to be victims. So it was like the motivation to leave. As soon as I seen that lesson, that's when I ended up leaving. But there we want it that way. We how to get out of that victim role when you can see it's a pyramid scheme that ultimately it's going to be the king in religion. They're the two evil groups that are supporting each other. It's like they're one entity, but one's going to look evil and one's going to look like it's trying to control evil, but they're both evil. And it's, you got to stand up for yourself, and it ain't going to be in the courts. The ultimate result of the solution was out of a justice system. Just her standing up and saying, no, I am not going to put up with this, and all of your dirty little secrets are going to be out. And that's basically all it is revealing the secret makes them want to back off. So it's like WikiLeaks, and we're going to say WikiLeaks is bad and and it doesn't matter. The more secrets get out, the more everybody tells their story, the more we see how big this is. Um, but then it's really hard to receive that much information. And everybody's got a story. Everybody wants to send their information out, but nobody's receiving um, the experiences other people have. So, but anyways, it is about, don't fall for what somebody wants to tell you who you are. You know, find out who you are and use your own power. And as long as you just stand up and say, I ain't playing this game, I'm playing a completely different game, the solution game, and you have no power. You cannot proclaim a king to be a king, because then you make him a king. You know, as soon as you say that is your president, then he is your president. As soon as you start saying that ain't my president, then he is no longer your president. You make people who they are by giving your power away. So it's like this truther movement. If any one of them, anybody says that is our president, when you want to say it's a birth certificate and he's going against, as soon as you acknowledge that is your president, well, he becomes your president. The second everybody says that's not your president and you don't have a president, then maybe you'll start looking for a president and maybe find it within a structure that didn't elect the one that isn't your president. I think it is. I mean, if you want to fight people within the legal system, all you have to do is point out their own laws that says that isn't our president legally. You know, here's the structure that is a new structure. Um, First of all, you got to kind of have a new structure that actually looks completely different. That Constitution was made up by the kings and religion. Um, there's a really good movie out there. I don't have the title on me, but it's one of the latest ones about the King John, I think it was. Um, and it was the start of how your justice system all went about. And it's like, see, the king didn't listen to those laws in the, you know, way back then. He ain't listening to it now. Maybe you could see that maybe religion and their concept of law is not law of the land or God's law. You know, any religion, Catholic religion, maybe because you're having sex with kids might be a sign you don't even follow your own laws either. You don't know what law is. Anyways, starting to ramble. But go check out that one show. There's probably a lot of law programming bullshits, you know, greed. It seems to be a good message so far. It was just the first show that I watched, but it was some pretty good signs of change if we can get the message. Peace out.